Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to have an interesting conversation. Kind of a continuation of what was said in the prior video. I don't know if anybody watched the whole thing. It's like 30 minutes long. I said a lot. But really, this one is more about 357 SIG and 30 Super Carry. Now, wait on the 30 Super Carry one. Um, the thing about 357 SIG is it's one of the best developed handgun rounds recently, and it packs a heck of a punch, man. I've talked on its under development since its inception, and I would like to dive a little deeper into that. So my main gripe or concern is the SIG name that it carries. Nobody likes to advertise for the competition, similar to 40 Smith& Wesson. It's usually why you just see 40 or 357 on the barrels and stuff, unless it's a third party and they'll put the whole thing on there. I understand people want recognition for the round they co-developed, but that also did a disservice to Federal and Remington. They're not included in the name, and they're going to keep making the ammo after you stop making guns. Specifically, SIG. I'm talking to you. So I'm left to ask: can an ammo manufacturer such as Federal sue SIG to change the name? Because they're not making anything, develop anything, or seem to have any interest in the round at all. So can Federal sue for that? Uh, but then, if you even look at Federal, they themselves seem to have little interest in the future of the round because they don't make anything but range ammo. And if you go onto their website, it's $90 for a box of 50. Um, it's like I said before, it almost seems like they're trying to price it out of relevancy. Um, it almost seems that Underwood and Buffalo Bore are the only ones left who care about the round and are developing anything in it and trying new things and load data and all this other stuff. And man, I can't thank them enough for actually caring. That's amazing. As of the Gen 5 Glocks, it was the death of a new firearm manufactured for the round. They stopped with the Gen 4 lineup, and Glock was the last ones to do it. I mean, you're talking every manufacturer quit. Glock was just kind of hanging on. I don't know why, but I appreciate it. But again, I even wrote them asking why they never made one in Gen 5, but never got a response back on that. I feel a lot of companies avoided doing anything with it because they didn't want to advertise for SIG or worse, pay royalties for having their name on their product. Now, this is just my opinion on why the round really failed to gain a lot of traction with every man. The modern shooter understands what you're getting into with it, but again, you're riding the bull without a harness when you put it in guns made for 9mm. It's only a matter of time till you break something because it's too much for the design. Too much pressure, too much recoil, everything. I mean, it needs to be beefed up a little bit, kind of like what they did with the new 23. Um, and then again, if Federal doesn't want to do anything, can we do something about it, like petition to change the name to maybe reignite interest in it? With other gun companies. If it's not called 357 SIG, would gun companies start making it again or making firearms in it? I don't know. I don't. I mean, kind of. What are your thoughts on it? I want to see where that goes with that. If that's a thing. If I'm not. I don't speak legalese, so I don't know a lot of the legal things behind it. If you can sue for something like this just to change the name, but it would be really interesting if we could. Um, Now the 30 Super Carry. This is a round that nobody really asked for. Looks more like a revolver round than an auto round. Do you think 30 Super Carry was a bottleneck like 357 SIG? More akin to the 30 Super Luger, or 30 Super Luger, 30 Luger. I mean, you could call it 30 Super Luger at that point. It would have been more of a success because it's weaker or equal to 9mm. Same size, can use existing 9mm magazines, can use existing 9mm guns, and all you're really doing is swapping out the barrel. Now, the barrel swap on this would make more sense than 357 SIG and 40 Smith& Wesson due to the power factor that, shooting a little 30 caliber bullet, well, 31 caliber, is going to be easier on the gun than shooting, the 357 SIG or 40 cal. So that was just kind of my main question. It was like, would it have benefited if they would have just taken the 30 Luger and brought it to relevancy instead of, it being kind of like 9mm being super old and, It's just kind of like we are at the maximum of what 9mm can do. That's why guns have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Um, you get to the P365 and the car K9 and stuff like that. Those are pretty small guns. Uh, and what is it, the P9? Those are great, but they're very small for that round. So that's kind of where this was going with this. Was 30 Super Carry not a success because of what they did? You made a longer round, a louder round, and it just didn't really fit into what everybody has. So they couldn't use it. They'd have to buy a new gun, new magazines, and all this other stuff. Um, with the bottleneck design too, it also improves feeding. Um, that would also benefit it, because of the length. There's always issues with that. That's why like 22 Magnum has feeding issues over 22 long rifle is because of the length of the case. Well, you made a longer case in an automatic handgun, so seems kind of weird to me. Um, yeah, I mean that's really about it on the 30 Super Carry. Uh, it would have been cool to see it, something like a 30 Luger, so that way they could stuff it all into a PDW or something like that, or a PCC, and have this little 31 caliber round screaming out of that thing. What was the other one? The Tokarov, the 7.62 Tokarov. It would have been similar to that, but a little weaker because it's shorter. But you never know. I mean, with modern powders and bullet design, it could actually been more powerful than 30 Tokarov, which, as I understand it, 30 Tokarov does have some armor penetrating capabilities with the right round. Well, I mean, this is all I really got to say. It was just, you know, is this something that 357 SIG could benefit from changing its name? And 30 Super Carry, is this something that they really messed up on by not making it a bottleneck cartridge like the 30 Luger? Yeah, sound off in the comments below if you guys want to, chime in. If not, no worries. I appreciate you. Have a good day.